People of God edified.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production of Glory 93.9 FM.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Ladera Street.
Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Wardrobe provided by Bahari Bahamas. Visit shopbahari.com. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. And as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today, especially on a Friday. You know what that means, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. It's the end of the week, and we are going to be doing an open line show as we look at the week that was. And what a week it was indeed. Oh my goodness, we have so much to talk about, but obviously there's, one story that stands out the most, and that is going to, I suspect, take up most of our time as it relates to our discussion today. And of course, we want to hear from you. This is all about what's on your mind. We're going to give you an opportunity to get it off your chest. Our telephone line to call is 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call. And the text line is 828-2543. 828-2543 is the number to text. And I would love to hear from you. As you know, on Fridays, I don't do a guest. It's all about you. You are my guest today. And so I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the week that was, the hot topics that are being discussed everywhere you go. And there's a big one. This was a very interesting week. But the big story of the week, I suspect, would be obviously the resignation of one Lanisha Roll from the cabinet, becoming the fourth cabinet minister to step down during this term in office, and that within itself is a story. But let's focus for the moment on the resignation of Lanisha Roll. So on the 23rd of February, it went public that Lanisha Roll had resigned as the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. And her letter said, "Today I render my resignation as Minister of the Government of the Bahamas. I am pleased to have opened and bookmarked this chapter of my book of national service to the good people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Indeed, I offered myself for service, and the people of Seabreeze accepted that offer. On May 10, 2017, over 3,500 of the 5,800 registered voters from across the political divide peacefully presented themselves at the Seabreeze voting station and cast their ballots in favor of a new kind of representative and to demonstrate their belief in my platform to build a better Seabreeze. Together we did and continue to make Seabreeze better. It is on the shoulders of the hardworking, dedicated, and good-spirited residents of Seabreeze that I stand and will continue standing with the help of the good Lord. Seabreeze, you chose me, and for your goodwill, my family and I are forever grateful. The contract I signed with the voters of Seabreeze on election day was for a period of 5 years or until or unless a new member of parliament is seated. Therefore, I remain focused and committed to fully performing my part of the contract. I vowed to represent the Seabreeze constituency as a sitting member of parliament for Seabreeze, and I will continue to keep my word to do the best that I can for as many as I can for as long as I can. Indeed, these are extraordinarily difficult times for the Bahamian people, and particularly the people of Seabreeze. Therefore, I will not abandon them in the hour they most need representation. Hence, I will continue to represent my beloved Seabreeze constituents without fear or favor. I take this opportunity to thank, where did it go? I take this opportunity to thank the Most Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis, for the opportunity to serve as a member of his cabinet, and wish he, his family, and the remaining members of his cabinet well. Significantly, I thank the Free National Movement Party, its officers, and Seabreeze executives for their support throughout this portion of my journey in national service. I thank my husband, immediate and extended family, and the body of Christian believers, particularly fellow pastors and all members of the household of faith, for their continued prayers and support of my political career. Moreover, I thank the management and staff of the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture for their resounding support of my leadership as their minister. They are amongst the finest, most dedicated, and hardworking civil servants whose labor of public service shall not be in vain. For those who know the virtue of prayer, let us together pray that the Lord will give strength unto his people, and that our Lord will bless his people with peace. Yours in the public service, the Honorable Lanisha T. Roll, MP. That was the letter that she distributed on February 23rd. That's when it hit the public sphere. On the same day, later in the afternoon, another letter made its rounds, and this one came from the Cabinet Office. And this letter said simply, the Cabinet Office notifies for general information that the Honorable Lanisha Roll has tendered her resignation as Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, has accepted Ms. Roll's resignation. Certain matters have been brought to the attention of the Prime Minister and are under investigation. The Prime Minister thanks Mrs. Roll for her service. The Prime Minister has advised His Excellency the Governor General to appoint the Honorable Iram Lewis as substantive Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture. Minister Lewis will demit his post as Minister of State in the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, Management, and Reconstruction, which remains under the ministerial portfolio of the Prime Minister. Simple statement. And then the drama continued with a visit from Daddy. You can't make this stuff up. Lanisha Roll's father then goes to the steps of the Cabinet Office, where he proceeds to speak to the media, and he sends a message to Minnis to not respect his baby. That's my baby, and you should not disrespect her, because when you needed help, she was there for you, and you should now be disrespecting her. Yeah, so that's the big story. That's the big story of the week. The drama that surrounds this sudden resignation, this swift acceptance of that resignation, and now all of the fallout from that resignation. It is being alleged. Well, before I go into the allegations, let me just go into a news report that sheds some light as to why this resignation suddenly came and was so swiftly accepted. The Auditor General revealed that the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture's expenses are under review. And the Office of the Auditor General currently reviewing the expenses of that ministry. In an interview with Eyewitness News, Auditor General Terence Bastian confirmed the audit will be reviewing expenditure and relevant contracts with the ministry and authority, noting that they don't really collect revenue. We have already looked at information for a couple of weeks now. Bastian said other things may come up, but it's an ordinary audit that was planned even before the day revealed itself. Eyewitness News understands the audit began last tendered her resignation as Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. Roll did not provide a reason for her resignation in her letter to the Governor General, nor when she confirmed her decision to Eyewitness News. She said she will continue on as MP for Seabreeze to fulfill the contract she signed with voters. And then it goes on to talk about the statement from the Cabinet Office, which advised that she resigned, stating that certain matters have been brought to the attention of the Prime Minister and are under investigation. So, all of this drama that is unfolding, people don't just pitch up and resign because they ain't got nothing else to do. And also, people don't suddenly. So the allegations are that there is in the vicinity of $600,000 that are being investigated by this audit, that are being reviewed, I should say, by this audit, that raise some kind of red flags. These are the allegations out there. And the allegations are that I believe were the ones who brought this to the attention of the Prime Minister. And the allegations are that I'm just trying to be very careful how I say these things because I'm not trying to get the station sued or anything. But everybody out there has been hearing what is being alleged as it relates to where those funds were allocated. We're hearing allegations of $100,000 contract to clean South Beach pools, and questions being raised as to the person that contract was awarded to and their alleged connection with the minister. So this thing opens up a serious can of worms, a serious situation for the minister administration. Because first of all, this is the fourth cabinet minister within this term to step down. Don't matter the reason, the fourth within this term. And according to historians, it's not a good look. This is the most cabinet resignations since the 1984 corruption report. Then Governor General Dame Marguerite Pinling hosted members of the minister administration during a Christmas luncheon in December. They showed a photograph. This is a report from Eyewitness News. But not since the release of the 1984 Royal Commission report has there been so many restrictions from cabinet under one administration, according to the University of the Bahamas history professor Chris Curry. Associate Professor Curry, who's the associate professor of history at the UB, told Eyewitness News that the developments do not look good for the administration. The last time we saw this much movement was in the 1980s, the professor said, and he was referring to the Royal Commission report on alleged government corruption that led to the resignation of 3 cabinet ministers, then Deputy Prime Minister Arthur Hanna, Youth Minister Kendall Nottage, and Agriculture Minister George Smith, as well as the dismissal of then Tourism Minister Perry Christie and Housing Minister Hubert Ingram. Ingram and Christie each eventually served as Prime Minister. So Dr. Curry said the circumstances are different today, but there are clearly factions within the FNM, and you have a leader that doesn't seem to command the loyalty of the entire party. You also have a leader who is bolstered by a particular or unique situation where he has powers beyond those normally constitutionally allowed. You have now 4 cabinet ministers who have resigned: Peter Turnquest, Dwayne Sands, Brent Simonet, and Lanisha Roll. And this, quoting Curry, says, I think in a way it's unprecedented in terms of party politics to have such close proximity, in such close proximity these resignations. These things do not look good for the current administration, and it's kind of unprecedented in our political history. Okay. So what does this all mean? I think that there are some serious concerns as it relates to what appears to be, as you would have just heard the associate professor indicate, this is not a good look. And you have to now start questioning accountability, because we all know that the Free National Movement ran on the whole idea of being transparent and accountable. Now you have these ministers resigning left, right, and center, and this one in particular under, well, not just her, but under a cloud of controversy. Allegations of misappropriation of funds, sudden resignations and swift movement to accept resignation. No explanation as to what led to this. And now we're hearing the Prime Minister say the minister herself is not being investigated. And you have to wonder what kind of tuck shop this is we running. Or we being allowed to run. We have a phone call. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
God bless you. Good morning, Michelle. How are you doing this morning?
Great. How are you?
I'm blessed, and thank God for life, and good morning to the listening audience. Let me first ask you a quick question on your open line show today, having to do with your show itself.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't listened to the shows every day, but so I'm curious about one thing. Are you having more and more callers call in? Because so far I haven't been hearing other callers call in.
Some days we have, yesterday we had a few callers, other days we don't. So it varies.
Okay, I was out on the road yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't get you yesterday. Okay, that's good to hear. That's good.
I find that most of the audience is now on Facebook, actually, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's wonderful. But I personally, as a frequent over the years talk show caller, I'd love to hear more people really pick up the phone and call in
Mm-hmm.
and interact with you and the listening audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the most effective and delightful way of listening, of interacting on talk show these days. So I just would like to encourage more persons to call in and participate from that point of view.
Right.
As you were giving your opening remarks for your show today, a very basic question comes to mind, having to do with elections. The voters' registration. Now, I don't understand how the permanent voter registration works. Can you enlighten the public on how that works? Because I understood that that's what the Prime Minister would be now using for the register moving forward to this next election.
Well,
Can you help?
I mean, basically what I know is if you've already registered, there's no need to re-register again. They're going to be using that same registry. Obviously, they're going to have to ensure that it is forensically cleared.
From 2017, you mean? From that election cycle?
From the last election, yes. So obviously,
Right.
they're going to have to make sure that it is, it doesn't have dead people voting and all that kind of stuff. I personally just went last evening to deal with my situation because in the last election, I resided in Bimini, so that's where I voted.
Yeah.
So I had to do a transfer, and I just literally did that last evening. So I don't understand what you're asking. What is the question?
Well,
really?
the question I wanted to ask is, and you just actually demonstrated my point for asking by what you just said from your personal point of view. How do residents vote who are not now living in the constituencies that they had voted in
That's
during the
a
last election.
simple process. You just do a transfer. That's a very simple
Okay,
process.
like I said, you answered it for me when you gave me your experience last night.
Yeah.
Also, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the same area that I was in the last election, so I have no challenges there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just concerned. I was, concerned because I'm sure a lot of people probably have the same question and haven't answered, because that has not, from my point of view, and I stand to be corrected, but that has not really been talked about much in the media for Bahamians to really get a clear understanding as to how it works. At least not from what I've heard.
I mean, they've been doing their PR. I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard.
I haven't.
What
Yeah.
the procedure is. So
Okay.
It wasn't confusing at all. Quite frankly, it was
No, not that it was confusing. I just didn't hear. I didn't hear it being talked about at all. That's my point of view. Like you said you've heard it, so I accept that. But I just wanted to ask you this morning, and thankfully you were able, from your experience, to let us know how it works.
Right.
Now, the other point of concern I do have, Michelle, having to do with the governance of the Bahamas. This administration, the last three in particular, Hubert Ingram, Perry Christie, and Hubert Minnis, have, in my view, been operating the Bahamas as if it's a private corporation rather than as a country. Why do I say that? Freedom of information, whether it is in law or not, or transparency in governance, letting the public know what is going on, whether that's in law or not. These things ought to be exercised by governments of the day, because they have a moral obligation to inform we, the Bahamian people who put them in power, to let us know what's going on, what they're doing with the monies of the people and other aspects that we've given them the authority to govern over.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard anything yet today about the Freedom of Information Act being made law, an effective one anyway?
Nope.
Are you still hearing the media clamoring for it? Because I haven't been hearing.
I guess the media got so many other things that are distracting them. I mean, there's a lot going on, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing here with me, Michelle, I think right now, if a survey was to be taken on the Minnis administration in respect to how many of their campaign promises that they would have kept, I dare say that this administration will have a failing grade, and a glaringly failing grade. And one of those things that they would have failed in, of course, is that they promised us or indicated that there would be no more VAT hike. They did that. And of course, they said it's people's time. Of course, they decided to give a non-Bahamian company, Disney, the opportunity to be able to have a business operating in this country when Bahamians were in the position to, financially and otherwise, to do it. They are frustrating a Toby Smith and a Prescott Smith, who are Bahamians, from enjoying the benefits of this country like any other Bahamian, special interest Bahamian, or non-Bahamians. So they truly would have failed. And those are just a few of the examples I can give. But as far as the way they're operating this country regarding a private company, if you are operating a private company, then what goes on in your private company is just that, private, because it's a private company. The public has no legal or moral right to know what's going on in a private company.
Mm-hmm.
But a publicly traded company, as we all know, they must have annual general meetings for the purpose of letting their publicly traded shareholders know what's going on with that company. The Bahamas is a country wherein all of us as citizens are invested or vested in the affairs, the goings on of the country. We therefore have a right to know at every turn, before, during, and after decisions are made, what the nature and the purposes of those decisions are. You and I are not getting that. And every time it seems as if when the public challenges Dr. Minnis in particular through the media, or particularly with this COVID-19 situation, he got upset and angry because he was being asked probing questions or challenging questions.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if a prime minister is indeed the prime minister of a country and not a corporation, he then is supposed to keep his personal behavior, his personal attitude rather, out of the mix. And when the people collectively are demanding through the media answers to questions, he is obligated, the prime minister, regardless of who the person may be holding that position. But the office of prime minister, they're obligated, are they not, to answer the queries of the voting public?
You would think, but clearly this prime minister doesn't think that he is. He thinks that he can give the answer,
So,
well, that's already, when it came down to the resignation of Dwayne Sands, and he was repeatedly asked on different occasions about that, and his response was always, that has already been discussed in the public sphere, and I'm not going. And I'm like, what that got to do with you being
exactly
what
exactly. What does apples have to do with oranges, right? The thing here, Michelle, is Dr. Minnis, in my humble opinion, ought to have already been removed as prime minister. And I say that with all due respect to him. All of his cabinet ministers, those four that have already resigned for whatever reason, either the reasons were either glaringly obvious, such as the case with Dr. Sands, and the reason was either uncertain, such as the case, in my opinion, with Brent Simonet, and or the reason was absolutely unknown, such as now the case with Lanisha Roll. So if these ministers who had to answer to the prime minister resigned for whatever reason, and the prime minister is answerable to the Bahamian people, and we've already lost faith and confidence in him, why is he still prime minister? And that's the question I will leave the show with today.
Yeah, that's a question you need to ask your people.
Well, I'm putting it out there.
Why are they so comfortable that he is still prime minister? Why are they?
Are you talking about the people collectively in terms of the citizenry, or the people collectively in terms of the MPs in Parliament?
Both.
I would love to hear answers to that question, Michelle. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks so much for calling.
God bless you.
He can get away with not answering questions because we are allowing him to get away with not answering questions. They can get away with telling the media that you are only allowed 2 questions in a press conference and no follow-up because the media is allowing them to get away with that madness. People only do what they are required to do. And if he thinks that he can get away with not being accountable, then why should he be accountable? If nobody is demanding that he is, why should he be? We can take a quick break. And then I want to go back to this whole Lanisha Roll situation. We got to talk about that some more. So we're going to look at that on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Professional and quality service. Warren Grant Photography, specializing in weddings, portraits, sunset images, events, and photo booth, creating compelling images of life-changing events. Make that step today and call 242-424-5678 or email Warren_Grant251@yahoo.com or check out our website at www.warrengrantphotography.com. Facebook and Instagram, Warren Grant Photography. We change moments into memories.
At the Gladstone Road Farmers Market, we provide you with the freshest produce, eggs, meat, and more. But what you don't see makes a difference too, like the care our farmers put into growing and raising that food for your family, the fewer miles that food travels from the farm to your plate, and the dollars you are keeping in our local community. Our open-air market is every Friday and Saturday. Come visit us, and be sure to look for the GPS-endorsed flyer. COVID-19 has affected all of us, but it won't stop us from serving you with a smile, even under the mask. Gladstone Road Farmers Market, home of fresh. At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservation.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and it's TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. It's an open line show where we give you an opportunity to get off your chest whatever's on your mind. Our telephone number to call is 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call, and the text line is 828-2543. 828-2543. So the big story of the week, the resignation of Lanisha Roll from the cabinet, the fourth cabinet minister within this term, to step down for varying reasons. And this one under a cloud of controversy. All kind of allegations flying around out there. And I guess time will tell exactly what comes out of this. I can say this much, though, that during her tenure in the cabinet, Lanisha did not make any friends. It seems wherever she went, she ostracized people to the point where people were leaving ministries left, right, and center. Let's be real now. She didn't make any friends. From what I am advised, she was not the easiest person in the world to work with. And thus, we saw the fallout of many senior people, people like K. Darren Turnquist, who had served brilliantly as director of youth, and just threw in the towel and said, forget this, I can't take this anymore, and left. Matter of fact, he took to social media after her resignation, and I thought his comments were very interesting. He in essence said something to the effect that, I'm trying to find the post now from him. Here it is. The post from Darren on social media said, I have never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. Let my people go. So many good people left because no one was courageous enough to stand up against the wrongdoing and disrespect. Today is a sad day because it took this long. And for the record, the damage has been done. You cannot show up after the fire and the flood and deem yourself the savior. This is a little too late. Now, who he was talking to, he didn't indicate when he said, you can't just show up now. But I have a suspicion that he was probably talking to the prime minister because there were many complaints about Lanisha Roll and her attitude. And this didn't just, this wasn't, an isolated situation. There were many complaints. Resignations. Darren was just one of them. Rhoda Jackson also resigned from her post under Lanisha Roll. It seemed that wherever she went, there was a problem. And, my thing is, when you see that happening, you have to question, well, what is the common denominator here? Because if these were people who were performing well in their positions before you reach, and all of a sudden after you reach is a problem, what is the common denominator in the situation? So she didn't make any friends. And quite frankly, from what I am being told, people celebrated when she resigned. There was no love lost. They were glad to see her go. So if this was a problematic situation, long before now, why did it have to come to the point where somebody had to become a whistleblower for action to be taken? Because that's in essence what allegedly took place. It is alleged that after certain demands were placed on them that they didn't feel comfortable with, they became a whistleblower and said, no, I taken this to the authorities. That's the allegation out there. But my point is, I am sure there were complaints about Lanisha Roll before this came to this. So I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but I'm supposing what Darren was trying to say in his post is, now you come? Like you trying to save the day? Kind of late for that. And the question now is going to be, what is going to come out of this investigation? The prime minister could say as much as he wants to say, well, we're not investigating her. But I dare say, I do believe that what will come out of this investigation, whether or not he wants to put the blame at her feet or not, is going to be very damning. Very damning. So what was all that talk about accountability and transparency? And, you're going to require more from your ministers. What was that all about? And in all fairness, he may not have known, if these allegations proved to be true, what was happening in the ministry. He may not have known. So I will give him that benefit of the doubt. But I will say this. This will not be the first ministry or the first government agency or the first situation in which questionable things have happened. And we have been promised investigations, and those promises have disappeared in the wind like they were never made. I talk specifically about what went down at BPL with the board resigning and other people sending in letters of resignation and running back to the States, and all of that madness that happened at BPL, and we hear we're going to get an investigation, and nothing more is said about what went down there. We look at the O-Ban controversy and how we're supposed to just pretend that that didn't happen. So it really makes you wonder, was that just talk when y'all were campaigning the last go round about accountability and transparency? That was just talking. Now, let's not forget that Attorney General Carl Bethel did say, well, we say plenty of things on the campaign trail. In essence, I'm paraphrasing, but that's in essence what he said. So in other words, mouth could say anything when you're on the campaign trail. So what of accountability? Because these are some serious allegations. $600,000 ain't no little bit of money. These are some very serious allegations. Is it enough just to accept her resignation and say, oh, well, we accept your resignation? But no, she's not under investigation. Hundreds of thousands of dollars allegedly misappropriated, but the buck don't stop with her. We accept her resignation, so that's the end of that. Is it? Is it really? Let me read a couple of y'all comments. Stacy Smith says, Lanisha Rhodes' dad wants to live vicariously through her. He wants fame and notoriety. You're defending his baby. Reminds me of parents who go try to fight the teacher and then when the teacher disciplined their child, they won't go fight the teacher. Gavin says, where is the accountability? Child, Gavin, if you know, I know. That's the question right there. Stacy, these people love to demonize each other. Let's wait on the facts to conclude what has truly transpired. Okay, Stacy, fair enough. But I just will warn you. These are some serious allegations. Very serious allegations. And I don't want the prime minister to believe that, like everything else that he has promised to bring forth and didn't, that the Bahamian people are just going to sit back and allow this again to go that way. People tired. Tired. Okay. Stacy says more ministers will resign. He needs to ring the bell, period. Gavin, you trapsy. Gavin says the testicular head needs to let the baby people know what transpired in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture. Listen, I even ain't gonna touch that the testicular head comment. That's too easy. That one too easy. I even ain't going there. That's too easy, man. I would say it gave me a very good laugh, though. Stacy says people are still learning about the new show as more persons become aware of the show being on the new network. This calls for, yeah. I got a message from somebody the other day, and she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know where you went, and I was flipping through, and I heard your voice, and it was a glorious day." I'm like, "Girl, is it that serious?" So she has just found out that I was back on the air. So yeah, the word is slowly getting out, and I'm sure that we'll get more and more. But I will tell you, I'm very encouraged by the numbers I'm seeing on Facebook as it relates to the number of people who watch the show. One of the things I love about streaming on Facebook and now on YouTube as well is that if you can't listen to the show live, you can always go back and watch it later on. You can share it with others. So it's not a matter of, oh, I missed it, so that's the end of that. Now you can actually go back and watch it at your leisure. So I love that about the live streaming to Facebook and now YouTube as well. For those of you who don't have Facebook, we are now streaming live on YouTube as well. Okay, so Alana says, her father never said she was innocent. He said the PM owes him and his daughter for favors they did for him. Well, I don't know if I'd call it favors, but she was very loyal to him. If anybody can come out to bat for Menace, it was Lanisha Roll. Stacy says, this is, where did that go? This is a great question regarding the term permanent registry. That word permanent brings about confusion, so we need to know what it means. I don't think it's as confusing as, I think it's a straightforward process. At least that was my experience yesterday. There was no confusion or anything like that. It actually went very smoothly. And if you move to another constituency, even without them talking about a permanent registry, you're going to have to go through that process again anyway. So I didn't think it was any big deal, to tell you the truth. Okay, so Stacy says, Dr. Menace's arrogance is what has single-handedly destroyed the Free National Movement and will ultimately cause them to lose the next general election. Gavin says one-term government. Star Santoy says the whole political system that bows to their European gods and slave masters and are finished, nobody can save it. Okay. And Sonia says, if she has nothing to hide, an investigation should not be a problem. Oswald says, Michelle, reporting a minister with a bad attitude to a prime minister with a bad attitude will equal to no accountability. Well, you got a point. You have a good point. Wow. Well, I just don't want them to attempt to try to sweep this under the rug like they have attempted to sweep other things under the rug and pretend that it hasn't happened. This is serious, y'all. This is serious because Hubert Minnis is a man who went to the international community and said the Bahamas has a problem with corruption. He put himself out to be the savior in terms of ridding this country out of corruption. I have said repeatedly that, the PLP has gotten a bad name as it relates to corruption. So that's the tag that has been pinned on the PLP. Oh, that's a party of corruption. And my position has always been both are corrupt. One just better at hiding theirs than the next. I want you to think no one party have no monopoly on corruption. I don't want you to think that the Free National Movement is a party of choir boys and altar boys and choir girls, and they all, perfect and holy. And listen, they probably more corrupt because they slicker with theirs. Do you remember the very first case to be brought before the courts as it related to alleged corruption was under the F&M? Well, was related to an F&M board. Do you remember that? One of the things that the Free National Movement seems to do is they do their dirt through boards. And I'm in no way trying to disparage every board that has been appointed by the Free National Movement, so don't get me wrong. But a lot of the times, the wickedness they doing is be right through them boards. Watch it. They are equally as corrupt. They just better at hiding it. So I don't want you to, for 1 second, to believe that Peter any better than Paul. All y'all need to do is open your eye and see what's really going on in this country. And this situation with Lanisha, this is a serious thing. These are some very serious allegations. So yeah, Menace, you go on talking about, the Bahamas so corrupt and you can deal with that. And it's under your administration where we see all the Shane them doing the bank lane shuffle. So you giving your girl a slide? If in fact these allegations are proven, is she going to do the bank lane shuffle? Oh, I forget. You say she ain't on the investigation. Who does the buck stop with? If you put me in charge of a department, let's say you're running a business, and you put me in charge of the department, and you say, Michelle, this department is your responsibility. I expect you to be responsible for the revenue. I expect you to be responsible for marketing. I expect you to be responsible for the entire operation of this department. That is your responsibility. You have to, work with your team or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's your responsibility, and you are answerable to me as to the success of this department. Because that's how it normally works. So I say, okay, yes, sir, I accept the responsibility. And then all hell breaks loose in my department. Money gone missing. Can't account for where all the money gone that has been spent. I can't point to any projects to say, this is where the money was spent. I can't, so all hell breaks loose. And then my people start resigning on me left, right, and center. And then you can call me in your office and you can say, okay, we obviously have a problem with your department, but I'm not going to hold you responsible. It ain't your fault that we can't find where all this money gone. It's not your fault that some of my most senior people have walked away because they're having a hard time working with you. That ain't your fault. Okay? I can give you a little pat on the shoulder and say, do better next time, okay? If any CEO did that with a department head who was performing poorly, that CEO would be sacked forthwith. Because that is ludicrous. The buck has to stop somewhere. Where does it stop? So you can tell me now, Okay, she's not under investigation, but I quickly accepted her resignation. I ain't try to talk her out of it. I quickly accepted that resignation. And if she is not at fault in any which way, why she resigned? So suddenly, did she think that the buck stopped with her and this is why she resigned, even though you don't think it did because you say she ain't under investigation? Why she break off running? People, when it comes to light, what went down in that situation, y'all gonna hold your head and say, Lord, have mercy. Very serious allegations. And you see, Menace is in a strange position because, election lawman. He's saying, ain't gonna be no early election. And if you believe that I got a nice sale on the Paradise Island Bridge for you, come give me some money for that bridge, if you believe that. So he's in a very precarious position right now. Okay? He can't afford to have the fallout that this could lead to if she is found to be culpable for what went down in the ministry. He can't afford that. He can't afford that. Don't forget now, Menace is a man who was very good at playing political chess, because I dare say that much of what we see happening is a result of his political chess moves. This is all about him holding on to power. And so he cannot afford the fallout from what it would mean if she were culpable, if some of these allegations were true. He can't afford that. So what do? We're not investigating her. Interesting. It'll be very interesting, I believe, to hear what comes out of this. Let's see. Devaney says that's exactly it. Both parties have been the true downfall of this country. Change doesn't come being comfortable. And one more comment before we take a break. Al's Coops says exactly, Michelle, both are the same. The two parties need to be gone and never return. They raped all of us. The entire House of Assembly needs complete cleaning, period. Our number to call, 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call. The text line is 828-2543. 828-2543 is the number to text. And of course, you can leave a comment here on our Facebook page. We're also streaming live now on YouTube as well. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, y'all. It's an open line show. We'll be back after this.
Dress, hats off, looking like I walked out of catalog. Everybody wanna know where I got it from. Catwalk, boutique, where we make fashion statements. Catwalk, boutique, where we make fashion statements.
For the latest styles in women's clothing and accessories, visit Catwalk Boutique on Robertson Road East at the Helron Plaza. At Catwalk Boutique, we make fashion statements.
Looking for an extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA-focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy Schools on Fire Trail and Soldy Roads for more information. Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Pirateswell, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. It's an open line Friday, TGIF. The number to call, 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call, and the text line is 828-2543. 828-2543. I want to go to a text that has been sent. This says, Michelle, anything that is found in the Ministry of Sports audit has to be laid at the feet of Dr. Menace. Everyone in our country knew that she should not have been a minister, yet in his disingenuous wisdom, he made her a minister twice. It's like the movie Dumb and Dumber. Well, whether you believe that she should have been a minister or not, fact is, she was the only female in the cabinet. So her abrupt resignation now opens another can of worms, and that is the fact that we have a cabinet of all males. And this is a problem that is now being, addressed, not just by females here, but other places as well. People are taking note. Officials and organizations in the country are calling the lack of female representation in cabinet extremely disappointing and gravely concerning following the resignation of the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. Senator Lisa Bostwick-Dean, who made it very clear that she is not the person who will be running in Seabreeze, even though that has been the rumor. She says, nope, that's not true. I, for personal reasons, have decided that I will not present myself as a candidate. She said, as a woman, she is concerned about the lack of a female presence at cabinet, deeply concerned, and she hopes that it's a matter that can be addressed. She said she understands the challenges with that decision, as there are not many women in the lower house, and indeed there is no room for someone in this house to become a seated cabinet minister. So she understands the challenge, but she would be remiss not to state her deep concerns about the matter. And she certainly hopes that it is a matter that there can be some solution to, if not now, then when the Free National Movement returns to governance. I'm quoting her there. Meanwhile, Senator Renard Henfield noted that the government still has more work to do in the advance of rights of women and girls. After all the agitating for women and rights, after all the promises to do with women and girls, we had one and now we have none, he said. So, and also the Caribbean Women in Leadership Bahamas chapter also opined on the issue, saying it is extremely disappointed that the government did not ensure that the small percentage of women representation in Parliament and Cabinet, being 13% and 6% respectively, was not further deteriorated, the organization said in a press release. By not replacing former Minister Roll with another woman, the Cabinet of the Bahamas is without representation of fully one half of the electorate. This is extremely unbalanced and concerning, especially in these times of enlightenment when it is only not clear worldwide, but also mandated by the many international conventions to which the government is a party. The organization urged the Prime Minister to assess and monitor his party's obligation, commitment, and promise to the Bahamian people to increase the representation of women in parliamentary and cabinet leadership, and encouraged all political parties to do the same in light of the pending general election. And the organization calls on the government of the Bahamas to not further disenfranchise women and girls of the Bahamas by lessening our representation to not at the highest seat of decision-making in the country. Their statement concluding, we absolutely have earned and deserve a place at the table. Well, I'm sorry to let you know, ladies, but the Prime Minister don't seem to think so. Because when asked about this, his response was, my secretary is a woman. And he starts listing off all of these other positions. He's asking, like, as far as he's concerned, women are doing well. Let me see if I can find the quote from him. When asked whether there will be a gap in female representation until the next election is called, Minnie said, I don't know when the bell may ring. The bell may ring tomorrow, and therefore you don't have time for that, but those are matters we will address. We always feel that we want to ensure there are equal men and women, not only in the cabinet, but even if you look in the office of the Prime Minister, I'm a male and both my secretaries are females. My delivery unit director is female. My communications director is female. The individual in charge of my Bahamas Investment Authority is female. Pressed on whether this speaks to the glass ceiling for women in supporting roles but not leadership, Minis insisted women are doing very well. And I look forward to the day when we have our first female Bahamian Prime Minister. Do you think that Minis understands the concept of a glass ceiling? Do you think he gets it? For you to begin answering that question with, my secretaries are female. You think he get it? Do you think he understands the concept of a glass ceiling? You are able to effectively list off all of these positions that are being led by a female, but not one female in the cabinet, which is the high office as it relates to the decision-making of the country. Not one. And even when you had the one there, that was disgraceful within itself, that there was only one there. And now your response is, I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all doing well. Really, Minis? Are you that slow? Or are you just that arrogant and condescending to think that that's the stupid answer you could give? And yes, I did say it. Stupid! Like, really? That's your response? And as we look at these political parties and who they have ratified, we still see where there is serious imbalance as it relates to the number of men compared to the number of women who have been ratified for these political parties. Now, he says he looks forward to the day when we're going to have a female prime minister. How about your actions matching up with your words? Because your actions aren't showing that at all. Your attitude ain't showing that at all. When are we going to get to the place where y'all, as Hubert Ingram used to say what you mean and mean what you say? I quite frankly am insulted as a woman that was his response. I know about the rest of y'all out there, but I was very insulted. I said, this man, is he completely serious? That's your response? In other words, woman, shut up and know your place. What more you all want? Which is what I have heard men say when this discussion comes up. What more you all want? What more you all want? Y'all are my secretary and my director of this and my director of that. What more you want? You want to sit in the cabinet too? Yes, Mr. Menace. Yes. And what is wrong with that? Oh, you all just make me tired. I tired, man. I tired. I am wondering what kind of Mickey Mouse. No, I shouldn't say Mickey Mouse because Disney World is very well organized. They run on a tight ship. So Mickey Mouse is no. I apologize to Mickey Mouse for making that comparison. But it just never ceases to amaze me. The arrogance of these people and this condescending attitude. Like, really, dude? Really? That's your response? Oh, dear Lord. Let me read a couple of y'all comments. John says the Prime Minister can't afford to have her investigated, nor can he afford not to have her investigated at the time being so near an election. He is caught between a rock and a hard place. This is very true. This is very true. It'll be quite interesting to see how he maneuver out of this one. Because, you got to maneuver now. You got to give credit where credit is due. This man know how to maneuver. He plays a very good political chess game. He's good. If anybody could maneuver, it's Hubert Alexander Menace. He could maneuver. But how he could maneuver through this one, we shall see. Stacy says, this is why we need Lady Kamalafi. And Lady Ali McIntosh to have a seat at the table. They are two brilliant women. We have a lot of brilliant women out there who I am sure could do just as well or better than some of these men that we have serving right now. Because some of them, I'm sorry, they don't cut it. I'm sorry, they don't. Let's be real now. So it's not like we have a shortage of qualified women. It's not like that's the case at all. But it's this condescending attitude towards women. This what more you want attitude. Go find your place, go sit down. Y'all got enough. Listen, man. I just get tired. Okay. Stacy says, Dr. Menace is a callous and insensitive man with a secretary. What a secretary have to do with a woman being in cabinet minister? Judge Stacy, when you find out, let me know. I just can't believe he let that come out of his mouth. I was like, no, man. Let me rewind this, because he couldn't just say what I hear him say. I must hear him wrong. Oh, boy, I tell you. It's just ridiculous. Stacy says, he sounds like Caucasians when they say racism doesn't exist because I have black friends. Oh, boy. Stupid is correct, she says in another comment. Stupid is correct. Okay. All Scoop says, Michelle, a real dumb, you said it well. That's why it is indeed the people's time to roll all of them out totally. Stacy says, if a woman can raise kids on her own, provide for her kids on her own, teach them how to pray and have manners, and a woman is more than capable to lead. Well, the fact is that most of our homes are being led by women in this country. Single parent homes being led by women. Some of them in the cabinet were raised by single women. I don't understand why there is this attitude towards women in this country. If you look around the world, you will see that there are many female leaders who are doing extremely well, doing a commendable job, far better than these jokers we got around here. doing a commendable job at leading their countries. We just played a clip about the Prime Minister of New Zealand yesterday and the incredible job that she's doing, to the point where other countries wishing they had her. I bring it closer to home. Mia Motley, commendable job she's doing in Barbados. Females. So what is it that makes some men so afraid or resistant to female leadership? Is it that you, and I'm trying to be very careful how I say this, but is it that you have some doubts of your own ability, which is why you are threatened by hers? Is that what this is about? Is it that you have some kind of hatred for your ma or the female authority in your life? Is there some kind of unfinished business going on there that you are projecting on the rest of us? These are serious questions we have to ask. What is this really about? We in this country do not have the luxury of rejecting qualified people because we have a problem with their gender. We don't have that luxury, y'all. Because if we see the direction this country heading in now, and we've only been led by men, you can't tell me that they're doing such an incredible job that you would have a problem with a woman in the position. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. I have a text that says, Michelle, if Bahamian women vote for Dr. Minnis after that, my secretaries are women, comments, then women will never they'll never move forward in our country under this government. Like a wise person said before, know your worth. Very, very good point. I've heard women, trying to pull down Komalafi because one woman said to me, where's she going with that husband with that foreign last name? Like that have anything to do with the woman's capabilities? And I'm not here to promote or campaign for the DNA and Orinthia Komalafi. That's not what this is about at all. I think that a person's value should be based on their character and their leadership abilities and their policy. That's what we should be looking at. What is your code of ethics? What is your plan? What is your capability? What have you been doing? Because a lot of these people who run in for election, they just pitch up now and want to say, well, vote for me because I with this party, or vote for me. But what have you been doing to serve your community? Have you been doing anything at all? Or you just decide to pitch up and run for office? These are kind of questions we should be asking people. What are you bringing to the table other than the banner of that particular political party, right? And I have a real problem with people trying to keep a woman down for stupid reasons. It really ain't got nothing to do with the woman's capability to lead. Oh, she married a foreign. She couldn't find a Bahamian man to marry. Well, Brave couldn't find a Bahamian woman to marry? And listen, don't get me wrong. I think Mrs. Davis is a wonderful human being. She really is one of the sweetest people you want to ever meet. Wonderful human being. And I don't have any problem with her being the wife of, whatever, right? So this is not an attack against her. What I am saying, though, is that the same standard is not put to the male as it is to the female. How you gonna fix your mouth to say to me you have a problem with a woman because she married a man who's not Bahamian, but you ain't got no problem with a Bahamian man who married a foreign woman? No problem at all. So how is the standard different for one than it is for the next? Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? But this is what we as women especially do to each other. And I dare say it. We are some of our own worst enemies as it relates to this topic, because we need to stop hating on other women. Now, if you can tell me that you don't support the woman because you don't believe in her policies or because you don't believe that she has the capability to lead for whatever reason, then fine. That's fine. But don't tell me it's because she married a foreign man. That is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Because I dare say that we have leaders right now who married Bahamian women and doing a piss poor job at leading. So what's your point? If that's what you're holding up as a standard for leadership, plenty of them got Bahamian wives and they doing a lousy job. We got to get serious in this country, man. And I dare say that if the best person for the job is a woman, then why not? Why not? But when you got this man talking about my secretaries are women, so what was your point? Women are doing well. Y'all ain't serious. Let's see. Let me read a couple more of your comments. Let's see. All says, Michelle, a real dum-dum. You said it well. That's why it is indeed the people's time. Oh, I read that one already. Okay. Stacy says, if a woman can raise kids. Yeah, we read that one as well. All says, he's a sick man and he's a doctor. That's the sad part. Young Magic says, lockdown's coming soon just for a distraction. Marvin says, the PM has plenty Bahamian conks with him. Wow. Amanda. Let's see what Amanda is saying. Amanda says, it is my belief that the journalists who are selected to interview the Prime Minister are unable to ask the hard questions because they are afraid of losing their jobs. So they have to tread carefully and be treated with utter disdain. He shows it by the way he answers questions like they are ignorant, which they are not. Hello, democracy. It's the people's time? Really? Well, you know, my thing is, if you're going to go into the position, into the field of journalism, you have to be fearless. You have to be fearless. Because we as journalists have a very responsible, a very serious responsibility when it comes to keeping them honest. And if you're scared to ask the hard questions, then maybe you should consider another career. Maybe the same for you. But you got to be fearless. Because if we are not doing our job, then who is going to make them account to the people? Who? That's our job. No matter who is in that seat of power, it is our job to make sure that they account to the people. And if we're not doing that, then who's going to do it? Now, I see somebody calling the text line. You're calling the wrong number. If you want to call it on the show, call 828-3543 because we can't get you on the air on the text line. So the number to call is 828-3543. 828-2543 is the text line, but 828-3543 is the number to call. So please call us back on that correct number and we'll be able to get you on the air. Okay, let's take one more comment. Let's see. Amanda says, love doesn't look at foreign last names. Komalafi is a highly intelligent woman. She married foreign man. Stacey says, and Komalafi's husband is a respectable and well-educated man. He has elite positions at various corporations, so she married up. I worked with her husband before, indirectly, when I was at Kalina. And he's very professional. Nice fella. Stacey says, laugh out loud, Lady Malcolm. And she also says, these people are ignorant and xenophobic. All right, here's that caller. So let's take this caller. Okay, caller.
Hey, Michelle, I'm sorry. I'm in the car. I'm sitting in the car and I have it
Okay,
on.
you need to turn your radio down.
It's down. It's down.
Okay. How can?
Hey, Miss Junior Miller is a talk show genius. Okay. And I'm not going to take away my blessing from myself. Mm-hmm. The Bahamian people is a divine blessing to our Creator. And I'm not going to let them, y'all, take away your blessing from the Creator. The Creator chose y'all to be his number one inheritance. That's those who trust him worldwide. Now, with that being said, let me establish this point. I appreciate my Prime Minister today. Why? Because in a few months I'll be 51. And most of my adult years, I have seen politics played in this country that have caused the death of the patriarchs and matriarchs of this country. All right? So I am sticking with the competent authority and Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Why? Because I believe if I am not able to reach him in office, I certainly cannot reach him out of office. All political parties, leadership, executive leadership, have heard the Bahamian people in the different communities and constituencies around the Commonwealth of the Bahamas said, this is what we prefer, to choose from among us our leaders. Everybody played games with what was said. Their mortgage and whatever financial obligations and responsibilities was more important. 11 years later, I am taking no prisoners, and I'm not taking back my talk, and I'm not looking for no friend, and because I only need Jesus. The Bahamian people only need Jesus Christ help to send a message to who's sitting in the chair. If you think, you leaders of these 15 different parties think for 47 years, those who sit in government, okay, have gotten that far, all right, by doing nonsense and talking nonsense, then you'll have a second thing coming. Listen, we are God people. We are the gateway of the new world. We have sent, we are sending, and we will continue to send a divine word to those in government. Not while we in government, first before we get in. So when we get in, the world may know who we are, whose we are, and what divine work we have come to finish. Have a good day.
Anybody out there could translate anything Amos just said? Because apart from the screaming and the shouting, I ain't sure I understand where he was coming from. So I need somebody out there to translate for me, please. What is your point, Amos? we can take a break. Meanwhile, I did Amos translated to put on there what he tried to say, because I lost. What's your point? We'll be back after this, y'all.
Ocean blue is the best in seafood, hey, hey. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. We got fish, conch, lobster, shrimp, everything you want, Ocean Blue got it. Ocean Blue, friendly and clean, best service you ever seen. Ocean Blue is the best in seafood, yeah. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. Ocean Blue Seafood, we are here for you. Ocean Blue Seafood, no one else will do. Ocean Blue Seafood, located on Bernard Road. Contact us at 393-2160.
I call it perfection when elegance and taste make a connection. Every single dish is a taste of heaven. For your banquet or your wedding, who you getting? HD Catering. HD Catering.
Book Heaven's Delicacy Catering today with Chef Lachey Jones and experience a taste of heaven on earth. Call 533-9621.
HD Catering.
Want to look your best and feel even better? Visit J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa for the ultimate beauty, body, and anti-aging treatments, offering custom colors, haircuts, vegan anti-freeze treatments, silk blowouts, natural and acrylic nails, unisex pedicures, facials, and massages, all waxing services, and microcurrent therapies for anti-aging and body sculpting. J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madeira Street. Telephone 326-7863.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. It's TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, open line show today. And we are also streaming live on Facebook and now on YouTube as well. And we are on TuneIn. So definitely check us out. Like and share the show and let everyone know that GPS is on the air. So let's go to a couple of comments. Stacy says, Lord, look at this mule. Child Stacy. I don't know what to say about that one. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Michelle.
Yes.
This is what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you come.
Okay, no problem. I respect you because you're not, number one, you're a professional. Okay? Mm-hmm. You have been a professional for a very long time in our country. And why people like you have not placed your name, or people like me have not placed your name to be considered as one of the leaders our country should look at. Mm-hmm. It's beyond me. Well, not really beyond me. Nothing happened before the time. So I commend you. I'm 51, so I know a lot about your professional work in the country. Mm-hmm. Listen to what Amos, your friend, for life, is saying to our family, the Bahamian family. We all are human beings, need food, water, and clothing and shelter.
Yes.
God, we were taught that God is love. In a whole lot of our opinion, we are of the view that the two leading general political parties have failed us. Mm-hmm. The next option is either independent or, in my personal opinion, the only real opposition other than the official opposition, which is the DNA. But the women, which outnumbers none in the country, and I'm not shouting, I apologize for shouting. I'm probably shouting because I went to do some work today, and my documents are in quarantine for more than 12 days, 2 weeks, and the people who have it in quarantine don't even know when it's going to come out. Mm-hmm. And the deadline for the application is the February 28th. Anyway, so that's why I might sound a little loud. This is what your boy is saying to you today. Mm-hmm. I love my country. I love the Bahamian women. Secondly, because that's the only way I can get happy. Have a country and have a decent woman. How could I get a decent woman, Michelle, right, if I have no money? And the women hear Amos saying he has a business license, more than one different business license to be exact. And every time I go to execute my democratic sovereign right, I'm interfered with. Yes, we know Chapter 3, Article 28 says I have redress. How do I get to that redress without money? I have no court redress without money, no woman without money, can't take care of my children without money. What do y'all want me to say?
Okay.
If I told y'all 11 years ago the Bahamas government is involved in a global governmental conspiracy to defraud the Bahamian people out of every drop of the natural asset and natural resources, I have said that. Someone who had an $810,000 property at the time.
So Amos,
I'm only trying to show you what I lost.
Okay, I understand.
For saying it.
So you lost a lot.
See, well, everything I said, I lost something for saying these simple little words.
Okay, so calm down, calm down. Let me ask you something.
Let me go online so I can see your beautiful face anyhow. I was talking to you on the phone, but I will see your face.
So you're frustrated because you lost a lot. What does that have to do with the leadership of this country? You're saying you're sticking with the competent authority. What does one have to do with the next? Help me to understand.
I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. Think about this, Michelle. And I want you to think long after you think that already thought hard. Mm-hmm. If you are showing Amos and the Bahamian public how to take care of ourselves every Wednesday, and I didn't miss the last Wednesday. In fact, I don't miss none of your show.
Thank you.
But if you have gone out of your way, a professional woman who don't need to say it, don't need to do it, don't need to do anything for other than her affairs, her interests. You went out of your way and help us to comprehend what we were buying that we were not reading the label on, and now we are aware. If we turn our back on you, tell me, how would you feel when you hear 6 months from now, a year from now, the high blood pressure did not change, the diabetes didn't change, the nonsense that are not allowed to be sold in America is still being shipped out, saying not for export only to the Bahamas, as far as I'm concerned. So don't tell me I'm the COVID. I'm ready to take the virus, not the virus, the vaccine right now. Why? Because listen to me. If the food did not kill me in 51, I promise whoever put whatever they want to put in the virus, it can't do me nothing. Bring it on. I'm going to be the first talk show personality to take it publicly if you want me to. And listen to these leaders who playing games. The women outnumber all of y'all. I love the F&M because I came from the PIP because they cost me more than they could ever live long enough to drain. And they took away that. And so I ain't even considering them. Now listen to me, Michelle, with your lovely girl, and you look so lovely today. Listen to what I'm simply trying to explain to the people in my uneducated, common way.
Yeah, calm down. And
no one is better than you.
Right.
But if you don't want the next choice, which is the woman, you tell me what you deserve. To keep what you have, and certainly you're going to keep what you have because you definitely don't want to go back to what you left. It's a fraud. I love Philip Brave Davis with all of my heart, but the people around him will influence him to continue to take the VAT to 20%. Now, the government of the day is helping those who wish to help themselves, because when the world shut down the world economy, our little prime minister and cabinet had no say. We have to go with the flow.
Do we?
Period. Huh?
Do we?
If we don't go, it doesn't matter. I don't have a job. You who have a job can feed your sister. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you. I'm telling my good, glorious sister, I love you and I want your interests that you're after to be successful. But if any talk show personality, take Amos Jr. Miller comments for a joke. Because you notice when I hang up and people call and say, I don't never touch them. I have greater level. My word carry rate. You don't believe it? Let them do the wrong thing against Amos and our Bahamian people in the next 15 months, and I will stand up. But I'm not going to go against my prime minister, the competent authority, if I disagreed with a lot of things he did in the 4 years. But leading up to the next election, he's trying to fix some stuff by giving people opportunities to go into new avenues. New people, young people are having an opportunity. I'm saying if he wasn't doing these things, Yes, we could talk these things, but no one playing around the government, which is the people. I ain't riding with no party. I ride with the government. The government represents the people's interest. And when it comes to my interest, if a government costs my interest, this is what you get.
Okay.
Do you understand that, baby?
Yeah, you vexed.
Good day. I go now.
Okay,
It's
take
real.
care. Yeah, all right. Have a good one. Yeah. So, and bottom line is he vexed with the PLP because they cost him. So, you gotta love Amos. Boy, I tell you. Okay, Amos, I get what you're saying. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Let me read. Let me read a couple of your comments, and then we're gonna look at the final thing we're gonna talk about today. Unless you guys have something else you want to go with. Adrian says, Amos' point is they have been selling us out for 47 years, but now is coming the day of reckoning. Simple. Well, I hear you. I think we need to agree to disagree that that what we have now is better than what we had before. I can't agree with that, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, I can leave it at that. John Smith says, I thought if it was only me who didn't understand what he was saying. I don't think even he knew what he was saying. Yeah, Amos just a little passionate, but sometimes you just have to calm yourself a little bit so you can get your point across. Okay, Adrian says, I see this, Bahamas. Sometimes these people who you call crazy come with a message to protect you and your family. Be careful who you turn away, Brother Lenny. All right. Let's see. All right. Tara Bethel says, I don't understand why she wanted so much attention on her when there was allegations against her and PM. He shouldn't have put her behind the scenes. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Stacy says, Lady Malcolm, what yoga classes do you attend? Because your patience is like Job. You got patience like no child. Patience is not one of the virtues that I have in abundance. Yeah, I wish I could say that was true. And it's not yoga, boo. I try my best to walk with Jesus Christ. I am a born again believer. And I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. He's still working on me. But I know I have come a long way from where I used to be. Thank God for his grace and mercy. I will just say that. So, yeah. All right. Yeah. So Amos said the PLP cost him plenty. They cost him money. They cost him woman. And he ain't going back there. And as far as he's concerned, the competent authority is doing all that he can to help young people advance. And he believes that, I paraphrase in here, that let me put it how he put it, he's sticking with the competent authority. So that's his right. That is his right. And I ain't going to knock him for that. Now, there's some other people out there who feel a bit differently. Some residents feel that they are being shut out during this pandemic, and they believe that the sustenance or the assistance that is being given out by NIB is not enough. So this is an article that appeared on eyewitnessnews.com, and it says some Bahamians have been left in a bind by the National Insurance Board as the economic pinch of COVID-19 has tightened across the country. Since March of 2020, Bahamians received biweekly assistance from the government in the amount of $200. According to NIB's website, the unemployment benefit was originally part of a 13-week program offered by the government. A 41-year-old man in an interview said he has been out of work for a little under a year. So a lot of people are still hurting out there. This we know for sure. All right. Hello and welcome to GPS.
Hello.
Hi, you on the air?
Oh, good afternoon, Michelle Malcolm.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, thank you for the show, any of your program. This Prophet.
Hi, Prophet.
I'm going to take with Ian, with Image said. Yeah, Image Miller is saying he is willing to give Prime Minister Dr. Wood Mills a second chance, under the circumstances the country is facing.
Right.
And only Jesus can save us, so call on Jesus Bahamas for help. Because the other 15 parties can't help us. He is willing to stick with the FNM government rather than go run behind some new parties. That's what I got from what he was saying just now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you so much for calling and helping to express
Yeah,
what you believe he was saying. And like I said, we all have our opinions, and there are a lot of people who agree with you, and there are a lot of people who don't. And I guess we will find out at the end of the day after the next election which opinion has the most persons backing it. But there are some people who agree with you wholeheartedly and think that much of the criticism being levied against the competent authority is unfair. And there are others who say, no, we could and should expect more. I personally believe that things could have been handled much better. I look at other countries that, to me, did a far better job in terms of their response to COVID-19. I believe that COVID-19 is being used as a scapegoat to dismiss all of the problems that we face. You blame everything on COVID, when quite frankly, some of it is just poor management, poor leadership. I'm not saying that it has been an easy job to have to lead in this environment, but countries around the world facing the same COVID, and some are doing far better than we are. That's just my personal opinion. I think it all boils down to leadership. And, as far as the attitude of, just believe, in God because only God could help us. Well, the thing is, I believe in the divine authority of the Almighty, absolutely. But he put man on earth, and he does things through men and women. When I say man, I'm talking about mankind. Okay? So what he expects to get done on earth has to be done through a human being. Right? He uses our hands, he uses our voices, he uses us to do what he needs to have done on earth. There's a saying, without God, man cannot, but without man, God will not. And here's how that works. If you believe in the creation story of the Bible, it makes it very clear that, because a lot of people say, well, if there was a God, why would he allow such bad things to happen on earth? Well, here's the thing. He gave mankind dominion over the earth. And when the fall happened, man gave that authority over to the enemy. God is not going to violate his word. And so we were the ones who turned over that dominion that he gave. We are the ones who opened up the door for the enemy. We can't blame God for that. And so to say, well, we just need to trust God because only God could help us. But he put man on earth and gave us authority. So he's not going to violate his own word. He's not going to violate. So if he wants to get something done on earth, when he wanted to send the Savior of the world, he had a baby. He sent a baby into the world. He uses mankind, in other words, to do his bidding on earth. Those who make themselves available to do so. So it's not enough to sit back and say, oh, well, we just got to trust God. If that's the case, why work? Why do anything? Why not just sit in your house and chill all day and say, God, I trust you to provide. I trust you to do everything for me. I ain't doing nothing. I just trust in you. Faith without works is dead, man. He requires some participation on our part as well. And we are the ones who decide which governments we want to put in place. That's what you got the vote for. So it's not enough to sit back and throw your hands up in the air and say, well, we just got to trust God in this because all going to fail us. I don't know. That's my personal opinion anyway. Okay, Stacy says, God is not going to come down from heaven to govern us. He gave humanity the authority to reign over the earth. He gave us dominion. He gave us dominion over this earth. And this is why when he wanted to come on earth to to bring about redemption, he had to use he needed a human body, because that is the law that he put in place, and he's not going to violate his own law. So he needed a human body, and that's why Jesus had to be born of woman. So it's not enough for you to say, well, come on, man, we got a role to play in this. It is our responsibility to make wise decisions as to who we want to lead our country. One of the things that late Dr. Miles Monroe warned us about is, be careful how you vote, because you could take this country back 40 years. So clearly we have some say in this. And, I'm just very concerned about how I see certain families being set up even more, and they're what's the word I'm looking for? Their stranglehold on the economy being strengthened even more by some of the decisions that have been made by this administration. I mean, all you got to do is look beyond the surface to see what is really going on. Roma says, yes, you are correct, Michelle. This trust God attitude is fine, but we live in the real world and must do the work. Stacy says, some people use God to be lazy. Faith without works is dead. God uses mankind on earth because he gave us dominion on this planet. So whatever he wants to do on earth, he does it through men, through mankind. So it's not enough for you to throw up your hands in there and say, well, only God could help us, so I can have to just stick with what I got. No. You can make an informed decision, and sometimes your choices ain't great. I acknowledge that. Sometimes you choose between bad and worse. But you still got to make that choice. You still got to make that choice. And to just, now, if you're going to say, I support this particular party for whatever reason, that's your choice, fine. But it can't be because you say, well, only God could help us, so I can just stick with this one because all bad. No, give me another reason than that. Now, if you're going to say, I like their policies, I like what they have put in place, that's fine. But it can be because only God could help us. So just settle with what you got. Nah, that don't work for me. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but that ain't working for me. There are a lot of people who are still hurting in this pandemic, y'all. A lot of people are still hurting. A lot of people, as we all know, have lost their jobs. Hotels closing for years. Melly is saying 2 years it's going to be closed. And others closing and opening and closing and opening. And businesses shutting down and, going out of business. And it's a lot of people hurting. A lot of people are hurting. And I am of the belief that not sufficient is being done. And I know it's hard. I'm not sitting here acting like it's a walk in the park for whoever sits in that seat. But I think that we need to do more. We need to be more compassionate for those out there who are struggling to keep their heads above water. I just don't think that this administration is very compassionate. And I do commend them for what they have done as it relates to the food assistance program, because God knows if they didn't do that, my God. But still, I believe that we need to be more compassionate. I believe that these leaders need to understand that people are hurting. And it's not enough for you to sit in your lofty house and, just be deaf to the cry of your people. Because it seems that they deaf. They're not hearing it. They're not feeling it. They still say, well, things ain't that bad. And I don't know. Am I saying that, I don't want y'all to believe that, again, that I'm here to be an apologist for Kamalafi or for the PLP or for the third parties who have come together as a coalition or I'm not carrying anybody's message. I'm not doing that today. And if that's what you are receiving for what I'm saying, then you're misunderstanding me, because that's not my intention here today at all. I'm just calling what I see as a spade. I'm calling it a spade. Take it or leave it. I think we need and can do better. We need to do better and we can do better. I think that a lot of decisions that were made hastily and foolishly and have led us to the place where we are now. And in spite of COVID, I believe that better decisions could have been made that would have offset some of the fallout that we are all suffering through. And as it relates to this whole thing with Lanisha Roll and all this kind of stuff, all we demand is accountability, man. You campaigned saying that you were going to be transparent and accountable and you were going to deal with corruption. It cannot be where you are now going to turn a blind eye to what appears to be the very thing that you campaigned against. Y'all can't be that serious. Y'all can't be that brazen. That's the word I'm looking for. My grandma used to say, you're brazen. Y'all can't be that brazen. And then plan to come back to these same people again. Y'all got to get it together, man. Okay, Stacy says, we aren't thinking that, Lady Malcolm. You're real, and that's why we respect you. You speak truth to power. You know, anybody who's known me for a long time can tell you, my mouth always used to get me in trouble. Even as a kid, it was my mouth that used to get me in trouble. Always. And I don't know how to do anything else. If I believe in something, I can stand for what I believe. I'm not, it's not in my DNA to, oh Lord, I'm going to say DNA because y'all so politically polarized. Y'all can think that that's a political statement. It's not within my makeup for me to just sit back and say nothing. I got it. If it burning, I ain't gonna purge like the old people to say. I can get it off my chest. That's just who I am as a person. And I done been walking this earth this long. I guess it is what it is. That take it or leave it. You ain't gotta like me. Many people don't. But one thing you cannot say about me is that I'm not going to call a spade a spade. And just let the chips fall where they may. That's who I am. Final comment for the day. Roma says, this isn't the one I wanted to read, but anyway, let's see. Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm. I wish persons would realize this is not a get Lanisha moment. Persons need to be held accountable for their actions, particularly when placed in high office and given the trust of the people. If the small man is dragged before the courts, my God, for stealing a can of corned beef from SuperValu, then so should everyone else. The PM needs to do what is right by all his ministers and be fair and balanced in his actions. He cannot be seen as biased or weak, no matter who is involved. That's a comment from Sarah Reed. You know what, Sarah? I agree with you 1,000,000%. And finally, Roma says, I think we all want better for this country, and we all have our ways of doing that. Yeah. It's 1 o'clock, y'all. That's my time. Thank you so much for joining me today on TGIF Open Line Friday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Next week, we're going to have some really powerful shows planned for you. Don't you dare miss a day. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Have a good weekend.